Hey guys, I just felt suddenly like it's time to make this video, and I can tell you guys right now I've made over 100 videos on here out of all kinds of different topics and controversial things and just anything I've wanted to talk about, and this is going to be my hardest video, but sometimes you just know when you want to let it out there. So today I wanted to talk about infidelity. And the thing is, I'm going to be very open and honest with you guys, but to a certain extent, because this is still the internet. I'm putting things out there, and I want to be able to help people on here and to communicate my real thoughts and feelings, but without obviously naming names and talking about, very specific examples and things like that, because I think that would take away from the whole point. I know some people are going to be like, oh, I want to know all the details, but really, that's not what my channel is about. It's not a gossip channel. It's about talking about some of the hard topics that I can relate to. So I'm going to get into the topic right away. Basically, when it comes to infidelity, I have been on both sides of the coin. To say that I've been the person who's been unfaithful and the person that has been also cheated on, essentially. So from what I know of in my life, there have been two different people who have been unfaithful to me, and in my past it used to be just a pattern of mine. When I was, I'm trying to think how long ago this has been, a few years ago. So I'd say I've been faithful for probably over 3 years now, and the thing is, I'm a very honest person, so I'm not the kind of person that can keep lies to themselves. I have to let things out. That is just something in my personality that I feel is important, to be able to be honest with your partner, even if you are being a scumbag, let's say. So, because that's what people think when you hear the word cheating. You never think of a good thing. It's always like, you assume all these things about that person. So when I was like that is when I had fallen into a really bad depression. I was not unfaithful up to that point, but basically after my parents divorced, I guess it was about 6 years ago, I just found myself being lost and just falling into a depression, not knowing what depression was, just feeling an absolute numbness to everything in my life. Didn't care about myself. I didn't care about anyone else. Didn't care about school, aspirations, goals, anything. Just constant, suicidal ideation and just losing myself in my own negative, ruminating thoughts all the time. And I wanted to feel something. So I remember turning to alcohol. And if you're in a depression and you're binge drinking, it's gonna kill you. It's gonna kill you. And all this impulsivity came out in me, and I just found myself just reacting just to any impulse I had. And this video, I want you guys to understand, it's really hard. I'm trying to communicate myself, but it's very hard to find the words to even know where to start or how to talk about this. But I just want to express that I'm not justifying my behavior, because we all have choices in life, and what I did is I went down the wrong path. I self-destructed entirely. When I was happy, I tried to destroy it. I convinced myself for a while that I was an object. I objectified myself. No one else did that. But what I've learned over the years is that you do teach people how to treat you. So basically, if you're treating yourself like an object, other people will treat you like you do not matter in more than just the basic sense. So I found myself just being used by people, but I cannot blame them for that, because I was the one that allowed that and allowed myself to be to that point, I truly believe that at that time I just wanted to feel anything, You know, it wasn't like for an ego boost or anything, because I didn't even feel that way about myself. I hated myself. I hated myself. I didn't even I like to say I hated myself, but really I think I was just numb to myself. I was just empty. I was devoid of anything. Just I was so deep into depression, and then fueling that with alcohol every week. It was just beyond anything. For some people, alcohol helps them feel emotions and make them feel alive and make them feel something. It just drowned me out. It made me feel just invincible, but not in a good way. Invincible in a way that I can hardly convey to you guys. Just like that, it didn't matter how bad I was or how I acted, that like no one would care. And like I seriously thought at the time when I was hurting other people that, you know, they shouldn't care because I didn't mean anything. And it was only in very recent years that I started to find value in myself, and I sought help, you know. I went to a therapist for a year. It must have been like maybe 2 years ago. And it helped me so much. It helped me realize that I'm worth something, you know. I mean, it's all subjective, but it made me find meaning in my life. It made me not want to be that person. Because when a person I really cared about turned around and did the same thing to me out of vengeance, it was the first time I felt my heart being pulled out. It was the first time I understood how much it hurt to do that to somebody, how much it hurt to stomp all over them. I, honest to God, did not think that during the time. I just thought that it was just something that I was doing that wasn't affecting anyone. And I know it sounds so naive, but you know what? I was goddamn naive back then. I was just numb to everything. I wanted to feel something. I wanted to feel anything with anybody. And, you know, if we're gonna talk about love, it was, honest to God, only with my current boyfriend now, who I've been with for 2.5 years, that I found that something that I was digging for and searching for and wanting to find, and something lit up in my brain that just hadn't lit up in ever. I wanted to change. But you know what? It was a little bit too late at that point, because I had still been, when I realized that, it was too late because I had already made the mistake. And he ended up hurting me back. And that's what woke me up. That's what made me realize that I was being an idiot. So I have an extreme view about these things. I do believe that it doesn't mean once a cheater, always a cheater. I think it's very circumstantial. I think some people, maybe they're more hardwired to be that way. I think that monogamy is a choice. I don't think that humans are monogamous by nature. I think it's something that you just have to line everything up in your favor. So if you drink too much, you will get more impulsive. If you caffeinate too much, you'll get more impulsive. If you don't take good care of yourself and you don't work on your flaws, you will never change. So I worked on myself, and I don't believe that my boyfriend is, you know, a bad person by nature either. I just think that I ripped his heart out, and he defended himself. So I can't hate him for that. Some of my friends are like, oh, anyone that does that should just be, you know, condemned for it, right? But I don't think so. I think people protect themselves, and he did what he knew how to do. And ever since I got help and understood male and female behavior better, I mean, I know those are very broad categorizations, but ever since I understood that I should just let him be himself and stop changing people and stop controlling people and stop manipulating people and stop wanting to control things I could never control, that were never mine to control, that is when I realized that it's time to let go. And in that, I found some strength, and I found some meaning, and I found some reason to want to be a good person. I found meaning in life after I got help with a therapist. So I'd mentioned in some of my past videos that therapy has helped me and why it's helped me, but I never mentioned that a big part of me going to it was to help me to fight those urges of being unfaithful. And as much as you guys may or may not believe me, that part of myself that was unfaithful, and that part of myself that I learned to hate, is dead. There is nothing left of that anymore. I think that was my coping mechanism at the time, but what I did is I found healthy ways to fight my depression. Exercise, eat well, take supplements, sleep properly, communicate, be an honest person. Take good care of myself and my brain. And since I learned how to do that, I became so much more proud of myself. And I know that the way I used to be might have cursed me, and maybe there will be more karma coming for me and all that, but all I can do is work on myself now from the things I have learned and the experiences I've gone through. And I feel comfortable enough talking about this topic because it's something that I know so well, but has been a killer, an absolute killer, and something that people don't understand. Some people just assume that I was a narcissist and I just wanted everyone's attention. I want everyone to love me and fawn over me and think I'm the best thing ever. But you know what? I never thought that about myself. I was so painfully insecure and body dysmorphic and screwed up that people back then, when I was 20 years old, desired me, and instead of saying no, and instead of assigning myself more value, I just let my impulsive nature take over. And again, this is not an excuse for myself. This is just me explaining what was going through my mind at the time. And the worst part is I regretted absolutely none of it until I got to my current boyfriend. And then that's when I woke up and I said, you know what, like, but I'm not afraid anymore to admit my shortcomings. Anyone can watch this video, anyone can judge me and tell me, oh, you're a bad person, or you're this or that. Well, you know what? I'm brave enough to go on here and talk about it, and it's not like I'm just communicating with YouTube. I've spoken to my family about it, spoken to my friends about it, I've spoken to my boyfriend about it. Everything is out there, everything's in the open, because I don't like to hide who I am and who I was, because I do think that I am a different person. Because you would not believe this, guys, but looking back now at who I was a few years ago, I want to kill that person, you know? To think that I could ever be capable of being that horrible of a person is mind-blowing to me. I don't even understand how I ever let myself get to that point. It's like I do and I don't. Because when you get yourself out of a really deep depression, sometimes you can honestly forget what that feels like and how low you get and how desperate you are to feel anything. Because to me, numbness was always more painful than anger or hatred. Numbness is terrifying because you want to end it all, but you don't even have the energy or the will to do it, okay? This is my most raw vlog you guys will probably ever see. But I know with my current boyfriend, I can get extreme emotions. I can get so angry at him sometimes, and I can be so on the opposite spectrum and just crazy in love with him, right? So that to me is a functioning normal relationship, having those extremes. It's when you're numb is when you have to worry. That's what I've learned. Because I was coasting along for years, just numb in my relationships, in my life, in everything. And now I'm trying to slowly pull myself back out and find that purpose again, which I am finding. And I don't worry about myself anymore. A lot of times people worry about their partner because they don't trust themselves. And I trust myself now, so I don't worry anymore. I mean, the only thing I could really worry about is residual karma, but if that happens, well then don't I deserve it, and then I'm gonna move on with my life. I'm so much stronger than I used to be. I communicate, I say when there's a problem, I'm honest, I'm real, I don't hide behind anything anymore. I put it all out there, you know? If I have a problem with something, I vocalize it. If I'm worried about something of myself, I vocalize it. Seriously, even if I ended up developing a crush for someone else, I would tell my boyfriend that. I'm that open that it's like, you know, but that doesn't happen because I am really into this guy, and I feel like if we stay open and we communicate, we still have a chance. And I just wanted to throw this out there because no relationship is perfect. Maybe mine is very flawed, come to think of it, but I'm happy and he's happy, and we just allow each other to be ourselves. And I think that's the only thing you can do in a relationship. And the more you worry about someone and try and control them, or vice versa, the more unhealthy your relationship's going to develop into, and it's just going to swallow it up, and then you're going to be left with nothing. Do you want to spend your whole life with someone or without someone, worrying about things that are out of your control? That's what I learned about. All you can do is focus on yourself. So instead of sitting here and worrying about something, I take action and I do my work, or I do yoga, or I take a bubble bath, and I do things that make me happy. Because we are all worth that, and we are all worth taking care of ourselves and being good to ourselves and being good to other people in consequence of that. So guys, that's it. If you have any questions for me about this topic, honestly, feel free to. I'm in crunch mode with school right now, but do feel free to, ask questions. I would ask you to be polite, but this is a very taboo subject, so I'm proud of myself for putting this out there. And if any of you can relate and you're not comfortable sharing in the discussion below, feel free to private message me. So thank you for watching, my precious gems, and I will see you all later. Bye everyone.